Last week on the Personal Growth Podcast, we sat down with Kat Rayner and discussed co-parenting, schoolwork, cocktail serving, bartending, and everything else in between. This week, live from the Trii Point Studios, the boys are flying solo to bring you the newest episode of the Personal Growth Podcast, live without a studio audience.
We're going to do something a little different solo.
Yeah. This is the first episode in a while without any guests, and it feels nice to not have to worry about somebody else.
No,
and
seriously.
their feelings.
Yeah. You know, sometimes I feel like having a guest on is mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I think over the last few episodes, I haven't really had to talk a whole lot, you know?
That's true.
Which has been good, but I've also been really in tune to what's being said.
Right.
And so that I can follow or jump in a lull point if I need to or whatever.
And it's nice to learn stuff about your friends and, what they're dealing with and what they're thinking about and going through and all that stuff. But it'll be good to get back to basics.
Yeah, definitely.
Not that we have any problem with any of our guests. We've been happy with all of them. Thank you all so much for being with us, and we'll have more guests for you in the future.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, means less Dwayne, as the listeners have told me. They're like, yeah, we like it when he doesn't talk very much. And I'm like, that's not really a nice thing to say about. And I'm kidding, of course.
I don't believe you. I think you're probably being serious.
No, not at all. Nobody talks to me about listening to this, so I don't know how many people.
I actually have people talk to me about it. So
nice.
There's that. And they were like, you have a comedian on your podcast as a co-host.
Yep.
What an
I
asshole.
know. Who would have thought?
Just kidding.
A comedian on a podcast?
That's
never been done.
That no one said anything negative that I can recall. Pretty sure that's true.
Well, you guys can feel free to send any questions or complaints or compliments to ericcolecomedy@gmail.com, and if they're nice, maybe we'll read them out loud on the next episode and say thank you. And if they're mean, then I might tear you a new one. Who knows what'll happen? But
yeah, have you ever seen a roast or listened to a roast via podcast?
I don't know. I'm sure that's been done. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't give you any examples, but it has to have been done at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure it's been done, but I've never heard
Especially since producers over here in my peripheral vision nodding like, yes, it has been done. I've heard many of them, and they're all, yeah.
Okay, so getting a topic for this podcast.
Yes.
We're going to do something really similar to what producer and I did in our most recent podcast.
Yes.
We've got a topic bucket.
Yes, that is an idea from the Trii Point Studios itself, that people come in and they leave topics for future episodes of others. I think it's a great idea. So
yeah.
You want me to go ahead and just pick one and we'll get started?
I want you to shake that mother up.
Like this?
Like that. And then just pick.
All right, let's see. All right. Let's see if I remember how to read. Okay. All right, what are the chances? The question of on the topic card is what do you like about the way things are going right now?
Man, that's a pretty general, broad question, and
but also pretty perfect for the Personal Growth Podcast, right? Like, that's our whole thing. It's like, let's,
It's definitely a great question to ask. I think like it kind of makes you think about things in a way that you might not normally look at things. Especially, okay, I'm just throwing this out there. Recently went through a breakup.
Yes.
And it'd be really, really easy for me to focus in on how shitty that is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Definitely.
because this breakup wasn't like, it wasn't me being like, I'm unhappy with this relationship, and it wasn't either of us saying we hate each other and we don't want to be around each other anymore.
Right.
It was like we're both on our path, and our path it was aligned for a time, and now our paths seem to be going in different directions to some extent.
They're diverging.
Yeah, and it's a little sad, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how long were you guys together?
We not a very long time. We've been dating for about 7 months.
Okay.
Which I don't.
That's long enough.
Yeah, I want to say it's weird how I feel like I want to make that seem less significant because it's like 7 months.
Oh yeah, well it wasn't even a year. What are you fucking complaining about?
But I mean it was 7 months of me investing time and energy and her investing time and energy into this relationship and to put it in perspective, like if you had to go to jail for 7 months, that would seem like a really fucking long time, wouldn't it? Fair.
You know what I mean? So like it's time is relative anyway.
Right. So, what I like about read it again.
Well, it says, what do you like about the way things are going right now?
Okay. So, setting aside the recent divergence of relationship, like, life is pretty good. I mean, this is episode 9. We're over 2 months old now.
Yep.
So that's really cool to think about.
Yeah, we're teething. So like if a baby was 2 months old,
there was a weird noise.
That was me in the background.
That's producer whistling.
I was trying to cheer you on for the 2 months. Sorry.
I didn't
to distract you. My apologies.
I was like, is there a cat somewhere?
Oh, producer.
Okay,
you know how easily distracted he gets. Like, you know how easy it is to throw him off. Like, why? Maybe we need a guest in here. Keep him focused.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
No. Don't apologize. Don't apologize, producer. We're doing this in your studio. Like, you don't have to. You could kick us the fuck out of here right now if you wanted to.
Yeah. But anyways, 2 months and a week, right? Yeah. Episode 9. I imagined getting here, but you never know what's going to happen. You know, like I wasn't entirely sure if you and I were going to vibe as co-hosts.
Right.
You know, like we went into this situation kind of blind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because we had we have a friendly relationship at work. But until the podcast, we had never like hung out outside of work. Yeah. So it's easy to be like, oh yeah, no, Dwayne's cool, and then you spend 15 minutes with him, and you're like, Jesus Christ, stop talking to me about your fucking braids already.
They're not braids.
Yeah, I know. They're dreads. I said braids on purpose to diminish you and be demeaning. That's what. That's why I did that.
Yeah. Went over my head.
Unlike those braids, which are stuck inside your head. I don't know what I'm talking. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
But no, it's true. Like we didn't, we're 9 episodes in,
and we're just like getting to know each other a lot more than inside the workplace. I think it's
improved our relationship at work.
Yeah, for sure. Like having that this situation with a coworker who was upset with me by the way that I was handling things at the bar.
Yes. And
you had been like, would it be helpful if I did this?
Yeah.
Instead, so you don't even have to worry about it. I saw you do that this weekend, or just this last week, obviously this last weekend, and I was like, yes. And I almost wanted to tell her, hey, Eric and I had this conversation, and this is what we're doing, but she didn't say a word to me the entire weekend.
Oh, no.
And I was like, meh, I'm not, like, she can be mad, and I can feel good because I know that I'm, like, there are some steps being taken to try to remedy the situation, and I don't need her validation either.
Right. But, I mean, it could also be, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to pull her aside and say, hey, so, I heard your concerns. Eric and I have figured out a way to hopefully that won't be an issue anymore.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing to take the first step, especially if she's still mad. I don't know. She didn't say anything to me about it, but
I'm stubborn and hard-headed.
All right.
I should probably do that, but I'm not going to shit on myself. So what do you like about?
That is a loaded question. I don't know. I like. So I got a message from my son's teacher today that said. It said that his learning has taken off in November. He now knows 26 out of 31 sounds, and he's good with all his letter sounds except for I. At least I think that's an I. It could be an L. No. Well, anyway, P, the short A, the short U sound, and the short E sound. So, I'm happy that my boy is coming along pretty well in school, especially since I was worried that he wasn't going to like it at all. Like, I thought he wasn't going to like going to school.
And he's just recently started school?
He started kindergarten this year.
Okay.
And it's been great. He's doing wonderfully.
Nice.
Like, they had parent-teacher conferences a couple weeks ago that the teacher didn't even think we needed to be at because there's so many kids in the class that she was going to reserve the parent-teacher stuff for, like, the problem kids or, like, the ones who need a little extra, like, help.
Right.
And so I sent her a message like, hey, so do we need to make an appointment? Like, how does this work? And she went, oh, no, you guys are fine.
Huh.
He's a little angel. I love having him. I was like, all right, cool. That's
Sweet.
awesome.
I got an angel for a son.
Yeah, so that's, which is nice to hear because I know him and I know that he's not always, like I know he can be a little turd sometimes because I've seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
First
that's, I like that. The podcast is fun. I'm enjoying doing this. I recently got another job. I don't have my soul crushing hospital job anymore, so that's nice.
Tell us a little bit about what you're doing. Do you mind?
No. I'm working at a department store. You may have heard of it. You may not have. Either way, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I don't want you coming to look for me while I'm at work. Like, I heard you on the podcast and you were amazing. Will you sign my breasts? I'm not going to do that. I'm at work. It's inappropriate. Why would you even suggest that?
Yeah, you're not allowed to carry Sharpies with you anyways.
Yeah, they don't let me do that. But yeah, no, it's a department store at the holiday. So it's, busy. I got to interact with people. And I'm the guy who, like, if you order something online and you either want to pick it up in the store or have it sent to you, I then go out into the store to find it and bring it to shipping or wherever it needs to be so you can get it. So that's fun. That's fun for me because I'm like a clothing detective.
Nice.
Yeah.
Almost like Ace Ventura.
Yeah. Except without all the animals, which is another
and Jim Carrey.
Bonus.
You're pretty funny though.
I try. Thank you.
Did I tell you? No.
Ooh, real quick.
Sure.
One more thing. This is probably the most my favorite thing that I've heard about the way things are going right now is my mother recently went back to New York for a couple weeks to visit family and friends and whatever. And I asked her when she came back. I said, "So what do you tell them that I do? Like when they ask?" She goes, "Well, I tell them you're a comedian." I say, I tell him, he's got a regular, quote unquote regular job that he doesn't really like, but that's not really the way he makes his living. He's a comedian. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. Like she's validating my career, like to other people. So that's cool.
Hell yeah.
That's cool that like my mom is recognizing that like, it's not just a hobby. Like this is what I do. So,
yeah.
And so that's cool.
I've heard you have a set talking about her not liking your comedy too, right?
Yeah, well, it's not that she doesn't like my comedy. The joke is that the joke is that my mother doesn't come see me do comedy because she thinks if nobody laughs, she'll feel too bad.
Yeah.
So I go, well, thanks for the vote of confidence, Mom. Maybe that's why I have to get up on stage in front of strangers and look for validation.
Yeah.
Which is really not true because she told me a couple years ago she's very proud of me and like she's always been supportive of what I'm doing. She just doesn't You know, she's like, I can't, because she came to see me once when I was first getting started, and it did